Is next week we have Lab 8 quiz, which is going to take a lot of prep. Now let's take a look at Lab 8 because this is what you're going to have to prepare for next week. And as it says, to be able to solder a 4-pin grove cable to the Bluefruit UART friend. So that has to be done well in advance before you even start working on this. And you're going to be downloading this Bluefruit app, which will either work on iPhone or Android. And you can then click here to import the color picker program and so forth. So you can work with that. And there's color picker, and there's also a control pad. The control pad we're going to be using as part of what's going to be in your project, which you're going to work on for a couple of weeks. So you're basically putting these in that unbuckled cable that you've got. So one of those you're going to use the unbuckled cable, and the other end you're just going to plug in to where it says to plug it in the system. And then you also have to solder between this here and this a connector as well. So it shows you this in the notes, is you're going to have to take one end of the connector, and if you're very careful you can sort of pull these wires out, and they got tips, and you should be able to push them through there and solder them. If worst case, you just cut them and then you have to solder them. But it shows on this particular side of your Bluefruit friend, you're going to hook up the black, the red, and the yellow goes around the other side, and the white. And so you can see the yellow being connected to the other side. Now this is on page 74 of the notes. So these are things that you have to do before you actually start Lab 8 for next week. So you're going to have all these solder connections made, and that's going to take you a little bit of time. So that's why I'm mentioning this now, to make sure that you've got everything ready to go. This has to be done before next week, and next week it's a 2-period lab quiz. You're not going to have anything at the start. It's 2 periods working on this because there's a lot of stuff in the Lab 8 quiz.